Community Matters.
97.3 Apple FM.
The Taunton Flower Show, live from Vivery Park in Taunton on 97.3 Apple FM.
Hello, and I'm speaking to...
I'm Claire Greenslade.
And you're from?
I'm the head gardener at Hestercombe Gardens.
You're the head gardener at Hestercombe. Oh, no, that's wonderful, because I think the gardens there are absolutely amazing. Is there anything special you've got planned this year? Or development?
We've got, because we've got 3 eras of gardens in one. So we've got a Georgian, a Victorian and Edwardian garden. So we're still carrying on with the conservation and restoration of those gardens.
Right.
We've just opened we opened the house a couple of years ago.
Yes.
So we have a contemporary art gallery in there and a new restaurant and a new bookshop. And throughout the school holidays, we're doing terrific Tuesdays. So there's free activities for all the kids every Tuesday. We've got some 2 for the price of 1 vouchers for you to come and pick up today if you visit the stall.
Yeah, exactly. I do know that you actually have in the barns there a display about the production of gas on the premises.
Yeah,
that's quite something.
Yeah, we do. We've got an old mill. We've got the mill wheel working again, and we do mill demonstration days, mainly through the spring because there's more water coming down through the valley, so it works more easily. Make our own corn. We have an acetylene plant, which is like the old... it's like a household version of the old gasometers that would have supplied gas lighting around the house.
Yes.
So it's sort of something for everyone there, really.
Yeah, there is, actually. I mean, the sad story I always find about Hestercombe is the poor swan.
Oh, do you know what? I get more emails about that swan than anything else.
I'm not surprised. It did actually go away at one point and mate.
Well,
Metamate.
What happened? He came with a mate. They both flew in as wild swans. He's got broke his wing. She flew off and went.
Did she really?
Yeah. So they say they mate for life.
Rather jilted him.
Yeah. So we have taken him. We took him to another swannery where he was left for 2 weeks in a cage of 20 female swans, so because they have to pick their own.
Yeah, sure.
And he came back with this lovely lady, and all was looking good. But once he was back here, he got really territorial, and he wouldn't let her feed.
Really?
So she ended up getting really poorly. So we had to take her up to the RSPCA and get her rehomed. But
did she ever lay eggs?
No.
Didn't ever reached that point.
I just think he's a grumpy old man.
Yeah. Just likes his own company now, probably.
I think he does.
And of course, then he's got he scares away the ducks every now and again.
He does, and most of the children.
Did she actually build a nest, though?
He does build a nest every year. He does, yeah.
So there's great expectations there from his point of view.
Yeah, he's ready. He makes this a beautiful nest every year, and he gets really aggressive to anyone that passes by it.
Does he really?
Yeah, he's ready for it. He's just too grumpy to make it happen.
How old is he, actually? Have you any idea?
I'm not sure. I've been there about 8 years, and he's been there that long. I know he's been there about 12 years at least, so he must be knocking on a bit.
Have you got a theatre?
We do a couple of outdoor theatres every year.
Is one coming up?
We've got one coming up, but it's fully booked. And
is it really?
Yeah, we've just done a Shakespearean last week. So
what was that?
As You Like It.
Oh, right. Oh, it must have been great.
Yeah, it was lovely. The weather was just about held off, so it was all right, yeah.
So what's coming up? You say there's another one coming up? Is that you've got?
We've got that one, but that's that. We've got one about a giant, and that's just booked out.
Oh, for the kids.
Yeah.
What is it actually? It's not the BFG or anything.
No, it's not. It's another story, but similar.
Right.
So So there's like I say, loads of kids' activities. So this Tuesday is the Olympics at Hestercombe.
Right.
So
that sounds interesting.
Yeah, and once you're in, everything's free. And then we've got one called Animal Antics, and we're going to have some llamas and some geese and all sorts of things there.
Oh, yeah.
So there's lots to come and do.
This is all during the school holidays, obviously, because that's appealing to kids, isn't it?
Definitely. Yeah.
Oh, you certainly got... And I can remember going to the gardens many, many years ago, and the advances you've made with the gardens have been absolutely incredible, haven't they, really?
It's constantly moving. When I came to the gardens about 8 years ago, and I thought, I was in the formal Jekyll Gardens, and I thought, I might stay a couple of years, and then it'll get a bit like housekeeping, and I'll want to move on. But it's non-stop. We're very driven by Philip, our chief executive, and he's he's one of those people that goes on holiday and comes back with an idea every single time, so we try not to let him leave the building too often.
No, it does sound great. Well, thanks very much.
Thank you.
And hope all goes well, actually.
Thank you very much.
And maybe one day the poor swan will find a mate, but I think he's probably a bit, as you say, a grumpy old man and doesn't really want to know.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Well, I've got Barry here with me, and he is the owner of the Ark Man. And can you tell us a bit about the Ark Man, Barry, please? It's very interesting. Tell us what's going on there.
Well, it's not just the Ark Man, it's my wife and I, and we make wooden carved Noah's Arks and lots of animal-based wooden toys.
And they are really, really beautiful. I'm going to have to get a bit closer to have a look and describe some of them to you. And there's a lady who is buying something from you at the moment. Can you know her, don't you? Can you tell me a bit about her?
Well, she comes back to see us every year for about the past 6 years, and she adds a new animal to her collection every year. So it's now got to the stage where I have to design a new one each year, especially for her, and she comes and searches for it.
So how many years has she been coming to you?
Every year since we've been here, so about 6 years.
About 6 years. And now, Barry, tell me where you're based. Do you have a shop, or do you work from home, or...?
No, we work from a small workshop in a little hamlet called Stocklynch, just outside Ilminster.
Lovely. Can I go over and have a little look at your collection? I'm just going across to have a little look and see what's going on over here. We've got some really beautiful, beautiful pieces. Noah's Ark with, there's a camel there. What sort of wood are they made of, Barry?
Well, the arks themselves are all European oak, and then the carved figures are all English lime.
And they are absolutely stunning. I really wish you could see them. But this one in particular has got, oh, look at that one up there. That one's, what's that one made of? That's a different type of wood, isn't it?
Yeah, the wood there in the ark is cherry and walnut, and there are 12 different types of wood in the carving of the figures.
And how long would it take you, approximately, to complete a work like that one there?
Well, that's a difficult question, because I split off and do other little bits of work in between, but if I sat down from start to finish, that one at the top would probably take about 2.5 months.
It is absolutely beautiful, and you've got all sorts there. You've got, talk us through, you've got a buffalo, a gorilla.
Yeah, and the smallest animal you can see there is a tortoise, which is probably the size of my thumbnail. And the tallest is obviously the giraffe. And the grumpiest is the gorilla, sat with his arms crossed because he's fed up with waiting to get on board the ark.
He does look a bit grumpy, doesn't he? Well, it's absolutely stunning, it really is. Do you have a website?
Yes, we do. www.thearkman, all one word, thearkman.co.uk.
Thank you so much, and I'll tell you what, if you're looking for Christmas presents for adults or for children, I would click onto that website and have a look, because it is truly beautiful. Thank you so much, Barry.
Thanks very much.
Right, I'm still here at the Ark Man stand, and I've got Jane with me, who's the lady that Barry was telling you about just now, who comes every year.
Yeah, it's the first port of call, and the children haven't actually got the animals yet, because my husband and I keep them at home.
They are truly beautiful, aren't they?
They're fantastic, yeah.
So where do you put them at home?
Mostly they're kept in the drawer and just come out when the kids come to visit, but we do have a little collection that you balance on top of each other, and they get balanced on a daily basis pretty much.
Oh, how many have you got altogether?
A list.
Oh, what have we got on
Quite
the
a
list?
lot. Elephants, camels, giraffes, kangaroos, alligators, lions, hippos, horses, pigs, polar bears, cows, goats, rhinos, and then last year you introduced the whales and the fish, so we got a collection of them as well.
And what are you buying today? We got a sheep and they're truly beautiful, aren't they?
They're superb.
They're lovely. Well, thank you so much for your time, Jane.
I'm here behind the police van, and I'm with Mark, and he's a police cadet leader, and I just wanted to know, what does that entail initially?
Hi, Marcia. The police cadets, they meet every Thursday evening at Taunton Police Station. They learn about crime prevention, road safety. They get to work with all the other agencies and emergency services. They meet 7 till 9, and then we come out weekends and work in the community, like the Flower Show, doing community events.
Yeah, and is there a progression in the police cadets that they can do?
There's no direct input straight into the police, but what they can then do is go on to join the Special Constabulary, PCSOs, or as a regular police officer, working their way up through the ranks.
Yeah, and do you do any sort of activity days?
We do quite a lot with the cadets. So we are self-funded. So we go out into the community raising money. The cadets have just bought a defibrillator to carry with them by raising money by doing a charity lock-in at Taunton Police Station.
Good job you didn't get me in there.
Oh, there's always next time. We got another one coming up in October if you're interested.
I'm away then.
They also get to work with the police as well. We do a lot of farm watch, neighbourhood policing type stuff. So we go out signing up farmers to the farm watch scheme. We go out and check the car parks, do vulnerable vehicles. So they are actually working alongside the police as well.
Right, and today I know that you've got a stall here. And what are you hoping to achieve, with the stall?
Yeah, so we've got a crime prevention stand here, which is owned by the volunteer police cadets by fundraising. So that the aim of that is then to promote what the police do. It gets young people interested. We give them a right insight into what the police do as well. So it encourages them then, if they need to come and talk to a police officer if they're in need.
Yeah, it's that approachable attitude.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. An open door policy where people can come in, they can talk to us, show them all the kit. As you can see today, we've got some vehicles here for kids to get in and play with the lights and sirens. We're doing fingerprinting, got home security, or they can come and try some police kit on.
Well, that's excellent. I do know that quite often it's quite busy around the stand.
Yeah, we are quite surprised by the amount of people wanting to come and learn about the police as well. And the children as well, wanting to come and try some kit on and dress up as mini police officers. And then some of the older people, like 13, 14 years of age, they then ask for application forms to want to join as a cadet to go on to become police officers.
Excellent. So how many cadets have you got at the moment?
We've got 35 in Taunton at the moment, but in Somerset we've got another 35 in Street.
Excellent, because I know you did something in Street, didn't you, not too long ago?
We do quite a lot of events across East and West Somerset. So we've just done the Bath and West Show. We work at Glastonbury Festival, Yeovilton Air Day. We work in Taunton quite regularly. We also organise a 999 Day as well every year, which is raising money for the cadets.
And what date is that this year?
We haven't actually got a date next year, but it will be sometime in April.
Fabulous.
So look out on social media.
Yes, definitely will do. Thank you very much, Mark. Been
Thanks,
very
Marcia.
interesting talking to you.
Thank you very much.
You.
Community Matters.
97.3 Apple FM.
So here we are again, listeners, at the Taunton Flower Show, and now I've got Pipper Greenwood with me. I'm sure many listeners will know who Pipper is from her dulcet tones on Radio 4's Gardener's Question Time. Pipper will be asking any questions or answering any questions here now, but because she's got an appointment in the demonstration tent shortly, marquee rather. Pippa, welcome to Taunton. Welcome to Taunton Flower Show.
Well, it's lovely to be here. It's a gorgeous show, isn't it?
Yes,
I've not been before, and I've been here since 7:30 in the morning, and I have to say I've been having a lovely time, and a good few hours more still to go, so lovely.
Yeah. And isn't it great to see the community enjoying
Yes, it's
flower
lovely
shows?
to see an independently organised show run by and peopled by people who just love this sort of thing, and it's great. It's packed.
Yes.
So many things to see and do, and needless to say, some fantastic plants in the floral marquee and lovely little designer gardens and everything. So no.
And without upsetting anybody, are there any favourites that you've picked up so far today?
Well, I was lucky enough to be asked to judge in the floral marquee this morning. If anyone's listening that didn't like what they were awarded, that wasn't my fault.
No. Okay.
But the standard of plant material in there was just fantastic. Everything from brilliant cacti from a cactus society down to, well, the one which actually won the sort of main trophy in the end was some exquisite gladioli, and I challenge anyone that says they don't like gladioli still to be impressed by that and maybe converted to loving them, because they were stunning. But so many really lovely plants
That's good, yes. For anybody who's starting out in gardening, have you got any sort of tips that you could encourage them to...
I think the important thing is, and it's a classic thing to say, is have a go and enjoy it. And yes, if it goes a bit wrong, so what? Very few things in life go perfectly right the first time. And I think the most important thing is to enjoy what you're doing and take advice, but also do your own thing.
Yes. We have a fairly captive audience also in the local hospital, the main hospital in town, and there's a lot of talk about gardening being really sort of beneficial to people's well-being and feel good. Have you got any comments about that?
As far as I'm concerned, I think if you can go out in the garden, even if you're feeling really wound up, rather miserable, grumpy as anything, whatever it might be, you go out into the garden, and whether you're just sitting there for 5 minutes with a cup of tea or maybe even a glass of wine, or whether you're out there actually doing something, and that's even better for you. If you're just pulling some weeds, doing a bit of deadheading, maybe even planting a few things, and in no time at all you feel yourself being converted back to normality. And so I think it's a fantastic way to spend your time and sit there and occasionally, yes, watch the woodlouse crawling by, whatever it might be. Yes. It just literally brings you back down to earth, actually.
It does, yes. Yeah, it's very relaxing as well, isn't it? Yes.
No, fantastic way to spend your time. And also, whether you're gardening on your own or maybe taking on an allotment or helping somebody else in their garden, it's something which binds people together.
Yes.
I like that too.
Yeah. That's very good. Thank you very much for your time, Pipper.
Pleasure.
Have a good Gardener's Question time this afternoon.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it.
You've got people queuing up outside the tent already. So enjoy. Thank you very much. And
I certainly wish you well, and do hope that at some stage you'll come along and visit the Taunton Flower Show. If not this year, maybe next.
Thank you very much, Pipper.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, at the moment we're in the beekeeping tent, and I'm lucky to have Barbara Drakeford, who's the secretary of the Taunton District Beekeepers Association.
Yes, I am. Hello.
Yes. Hello. First of all, just a little bit about the honey itself. The taste of the honey very much depends on what the bees have the flowers they've been to.
The forage that they've been and collected, in other words, their food, whether it's nectar or pollen. For example, at the end of the spring, we tend to have a very light flavour, quite a sort of lightweight flavoured honey, which usually comes from oilseed rape.
Oh, right.
And then as people's gardens give this wonderful show of bedding plants that the bees like to go and forage on, we get interesting different coloured pollens which not only affect the taste of the honey but also the colour. And also how it sets. Natural honey will go thicker and harder depending what the bees have fed on.
And so, I mean, different parts of the country, you're going to get different types of honey, naturally.
Yes, absolutely. And this is one of the reasons why the belief is that people that want honey because of allergies and things like that, the best honey is the nearest to where they breathe, because that is where the pollens are irritating them. So if they take the local honey, they're getting a better sort of build-up of a sort of immunity to it.
That makes so much sense. Yeah, you wouldn't think about it really. Honey's honey, you know.
Absolutely. It's why my husband and I got into beekeeping ourselves, because we have hay fever. We have a teaspoonful of our own honey every day, and it makes a significant difference to our personal symptoms. I'm not recommending it as a medical situation, but it works for us.
Yeah. So make sure you're getting honey from your locality and you'll stand a better chance of evading hay fever.
That's our belief, yes.
Perhaps you could move on a little bit to something we've already discussed earlier about diseases in bees, which I know a few years ago were actually reached almost tragic point, didn't they? What's the most common problem now with bees?
At the moment, we still have to deal with the varroa mite, which can decimate a colony. It weakens the bees because the varroa mite actually attaches itself and will suck the blood of the bees and kill individual bees. It is something that we can treat chemically, but we don't have to. There are non-chemical things that we can do as well. So we're trying to be more natural and less invasive and less irritant to the bees. Other diseases that our bees have are nosema and horrible things like European or American foul brood. They're in a different ball game, really. Mostly as beekeepers, we try to work on the varroa problem. It's controlling it so that the bees are happy.
And it's very difficult, really, because, as you were saying earlier on to me, it's importation of bees that causes the big problem, and they bring in disease with them.
Well, importation from abroad can, not necessarily always. If you're buying from a reputable source, if you're wanting to buy a queen bee, or if you're wanting to buy a colony of bees, the general advice that we would give to people is to buy locally, because that is the bees that are comfortable in your area. They sort of know where they are. They're going to be happier. And it's all about keeping your bees happy. Yeah, sure.
And what's the sort of radius at which a bee will fly from its hive on average? I mean, how far will it travel?
A bee will fly up to 3 miles on foraging flights. And so if you say that's each direction and every direction, that's a significant area that the bees cover.
It is. Yes, I can see that. Just going back to the beekeeping itself, roughly how many bees would you have in a hive? I know it can't be exact, but, sort of a rough estimate.
At this time of year when the queen is laying well, as long as there's forage for the workers to go and collect, I would say an average of 50 to 60,000 bees in each hive.
That's an awful lot of bees.
It's an awful lot of bees, and that's one of the reasons why when we have people who want to come and learn about beekeeping with us, we say, come and we will put you in a bee suit and we will take you to a beehive to see if you're freaked out by being surrounded by 50 to 60,000 bees or not. And if you're not, well, come and learn how to keep bees.
Unfortunately, one always thinks of these horror films where, colonies of bees take over the planet almost.
Well, as long as you are comfortable with the bees, they are sensitive to the pheromones. Pheromone is scent. That is what the queen uses to control the colony to a certain extent. And if you are giving off a fear pheromone, they will pick that up and they will react to you, so they will feel that you are more of a threat to them because you're giving off a fear pheromone yourself, almost.
That's amazing. I didn't realise bees felt like that and were so sensitive.
They are incredibly sensitive. We always say to our beekeepers, please try not to have a shower before you go and keep your bees, because the bees might not like the perfume in the shampoo or the body wash that you use, because how else do they go and find nectar and pollen?
Exactly. It's quite amazing that, something you never think of as a non-beekeeper. Just how many hives have you got?
Are you asking how many hives we have at the club apiary?
No, just you.
My husband and I. We have 6 beehives at the moment. My husband has 1 or 2 colonies away from home, but we're lucky that we've got a big enough garden. We can have our bees at home.
So how long have you been keeping bees?
10 years. 10 years or so, yes.
So the club has also got a great collection of hives as well, then?
We are so lucky in Taunton because we have a fabulous clubhouse and club apiary at Heatherton Park, halfway between Taunton and Wellington.
Oh, right.
And we've got, at the present moment, about a dozen beehives. Some are smaller, in what we would describe as a nuke, which has got fewer numbers of frames, so that hasn't got 50 or 60,000 bees in it. But we've got about 10 hives that are the full 50 or 60,000 bees, and that's where we are currently teaching this year's group of beginners.
Right. I mean, I don't think we all realise how important bees are actually to our lives, the pollination and that sort of thing.
They're vital. I think there is much more public awareness now about how important particularly honeybees are to the food chain generally. So we try and encourage people to keep bees and keep bees sensibly, and to keep the bees happy.
Yeah, and as you said, with the threat of so many diseases, it's something we've all got to be aware of, really.
Yeah, but the important thing is to look after the bees for the bees' sake, and so the bees are happy, because if the bees are happy, they will stay with you, they will give you a little bit of honey, they might even give you a lot of honey, but a lot of people come and want to keep bees now because they want to support pollination.
Well, I think that's a wonderful final last statement, to be quite honest, and, let's have more people keeping bees.
Absolutely.
But thank you very much, Barbara. That's been very interesting. I've learnt an awful lot about bees, I must admit. But thank you once again.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Community Matters.
97.3 Apple FM.
I've got Gareth and Mark here, and they have a stand here at Taunton Flower Show, and it's called African Masters of Stone. And there are some absolutely superb pieces of sculpture here, and I got my eye on one of them actually over there, possibly for my husband's birthday. Can you tell us about your firm and what's going on here, really?
Okay, so African Master of Stone, we started in 2014. We specialise in supplying stone sculpture, handcrafted in Zimbabwe, and each piece is very individual, and it's made from different types of stone, mainly serpentine, springstone, and lately we've got verdite, butter jade stone, and lapidolite, which are semi-precious stones within the collection. And it's me and Mark, and I'll let Mark explain a bit more as well.
Okay, Mark, can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, sure.
He's got an ice cream here. He's munching on a Magnum, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm just trying
That's
to enjoy
okay,
the
you're
weather
allowed.
here at the show. We actually, every piece that we purchase is unique and it's individual. Obviously with stone sculpture, you're working with a piece of stone and it has to be uniquely carved. It's all from Zimbabwe, as Gareth was saying, but we actually go out and we purchase directly from the artists. So one of the things that we try to do with the company is to try to make it sustainable by making sure that the money actually goes to the artists in Zimbabwe, so that we're providing them with an income, as well as obviously hopefully providing ourselves with a business that is sustainable.
And is this your business, you guys?
It is our business.
You came up with the idea?
Well, Gareth initially came up with the idea. I'll let you tell him.
Gareth?
Yeah, Mark doesn't like to go into stories, but I enjoy telling stories, you see.
Oh, that's excellent. I've fallen on the right person here then.
So, the idea started in 2008, where I brought in a consignment to experiment. And went to university, it all died down. But Mark had a good eye to detail, so he kept pushing me, saying, why don't you do it as a business? And eventually we partnered up and launched it in 2014, and here we are.
Some lovely pieces here. Let's have a look. What? Give me an idea. Now, we've got the fish tank. It's called the fish tank here.
That's right.
And it's, how could you describe that, really?
So the fish tank, as you'd see it right now, it's we call it mixed medium. So on the fish tank, it's got a frame, which is springstone, and on it, there are little stones that are carved into fish on a little coral base, and the different minerals to give it more colour. So we've got the verdite I was talking about. We've got the two lapidolite stones, two little fish lapidolite stones. We've got serpentine stone on it as well, and it makes one piece, which is the fish tank.
It's very lovely. It's very lovely. Is this your first time here at Taunton Flower Show?
It is our first time here. We've never done this before, but since it's the longest show running, as far as I know, we thought we'll give it a go and see what happens.
You're absolutely right. It is one of the longest flower shows running. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time.
No,
and
thank you for
really,
your time.
there are some beautiful pieces here. really. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, I'm here now with Richard from the Compass Disability Service, and he's going to tell us... Hi, Richard.
Hiya.
Yeah, he's going to tell us what they actually do.
Okay, Compass Disability Services is an organisation that's managed and run by disabled people and carers, and we support people in Somerset who are unpaid carers, and we support people with independent living, so if they are managing their own independence and stuff, we can help with things like payroll services and employment law and things like that. And we give disabled people in Somerset the chance to have a voice, so we work with the local councils in making sure that the services that they are shaping up for the future have had the influence of disabled people and carers within that. And our most exciting thing at the moment is that in the autumn we will be launching Compass Wellbeing, which is on the Belvedere Trading Estate where we're based, and we're going to have a sensory room, a hydrotherapy room, and then some activities and a community cafe there. So lots of great stuff going on. And
sounds really exciting.
Very exciting.
Yes,
lots of hard work.
Yes,
and lots of raising money to get it up there and going. And,
well, yes, that's the main thing, isn't it? Is raising money.
Yes.
And you must really feel as though you're achieving something with having all this happening that you're going to be putting into place.
Yes, it's very exciting. Everything's hard work these days. We all hear the money issues and everything, and it's all hard work, but it's very rewarding in the end. And, you know, this is something that we hope, again, will give us an income as an organisation to, you know, make us more sustainable in the future and things.
And how long have you been going?
We've been going since 2001, and then we kind of really grew in 2006 and been kind of growing ever since, really.
It's just been onward and upward.
Yeah, onward and upward, yes.
It sounds really exciting, actually. So make sure you keep me informed of what's going on so that I can get the word out there as well for you.
Thank you very much.
It's been lovely talking to you, Richard. Thank you very much.
And you. Thank you.
So here we are again at the Christian Taunton Chaplaincy stand, and I've come across John, and John is one of the organisers or the coordinators of the Christians Against Poverty Debt Helpline. And John was going to tell us something about the organisation, which I'm sure listeners will be very keen to hear about.
Yeah, CAP is an organisation that's been set up to help the vast number of people in the country who find themselves in debt. And often we think it's homeless people who are in debt, but more often than not, unfortunately, it tends to be female people who've been left by their husband, often with children and with debt too, through no fault of their own, or it's someone who's lost a job or has got ill. There are loads of different reasons why people find that their income isn't what it was. They have commitments that they can't match anymore, and they find themselves in trouble. And CAP has been set up to help such people get out of debt. It's helped literally thousands of people become debt-free, which must be a fantastic feeling.
It is. That is really good news, because I'm sure many of us know the consequences of getting into debt in terms of paying the rent and the mortgage. And
absolutely crippling. It completely paralyses you. And a lot of people feel that fear and can't actually do anything about it.
Yes.
CAP is, and I would say this because I work with them, but CAP is an amazing organisation at helping people get out of that situation. They'll come along, they sort all of the paperwork out for you, they'll consolidate your debts into one manageable debt. They work with the various organisations to whom you owe money and agree a reasonable amount of money which can be paid a month. Often, sometimes we can manage to cancel debts completely, but often we will agree with the people who are providing the loans a sensible amount of money which can be paid back each month, and we can provide a pathway so that people can actually see a way clear of getting out of debt.
Yes.
And actually helping them budgeting each month.
Oh, that is really excellent, because and obviously you work with landlords and local authorities, housing, and
absolutely,
and, yes.
yeah. And we work with the actual loan companies as well to, as I say, agree a sensible amount of money that people could pay back each month.
Yes.
And if people are interested in learning more, we have what we call a debt centre here in Taunton. We also have one in Watchet, and we're about to open one in Bridgewater, we hope, within the next year or so.
That is really good news, because last year many of us heard about the lots of people struggling to pay their bills, and it was a case of heating or eating. Well, and the impact that has on society and on the NHS if that help is not there for them. I understand you have a helpline which people can, a free phone helpline.
Yeah, the helpline it's actually in Bradford. It's as I say, we are a national organisation. There are literally hundreds of debt centres around the country, but the number is 0800 328 0006.
That is really good, John. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope you have a successful day here at the Taunton Flower Show.
Thank you.
Community Matters.
97.3 Apple FM.
Well, I'm standing here with Gail Myers from Gail Myers Art, and some of her paintings are so beautiful, very evocative. They're very much based on Cornwall. And when you hear her speak, you'll realise she's not from Cornwall at all. So, where originally were you from, Gail?
Yeah, I come from Scotland. I don't have a West Country accent. So
And how long have you been home?
30 years.
So you're more Somerset West Country now than Scots, really?
Yeah, I would call myself local. Definitely a local girl, but I don't have the accent to go with it.
Now, how did you get into art? I mean, what were the beginnings of your artistic leanings?
Always been interested in art, did art at A-level standard, and didn't take it any further. Drawfuls of artistic things at home, and then decided after a visit to the Scilly Isles that I would start painting. That was over 6 years ago, and I've been selling my work for over 5 years now.
I should explain that Gail works in oils all the time, or do you work in any other medium?
Yes, no, I've got into my newest pictures are mixed media, acrylics. I can produce those quicker because it seems to be demand is coming in thick and fast, so I've changed over to oils in the winter, and I use acrylics and mixed media in the summer.
Fine. Well, that's great to hear that your paintings are selling so well, but I can well understand. Have you got a studio at home, or what happens at home?
It used to be called a dining room, and before that it was the ironing room, but now it's been transformed into a lovely studio. People do come to my home to collect their pictures when they've bought them. When they put an order on, they'll come, and they're quite surprised when they see our house. It's just a normal house with a dining room that's been changed into a studio, and that's where I work. And I sometimes work in situ. I take my paints whenever I go down in Cornwall, which is a lot. And from there, then I come home and I work on them more until they dry, and then they go out.
I should explain that the vast majority of Gail's paintings here are based on Cornwall. I mean, Cornwall's obviously very evocative for you.
Yes, I think it's having lived next to water all my life. I used to be on the Orkneys. I lived in Kirkwall when I was younger. Prestwick, Stranraer, always next to water, and I think there's a lot of people that buy my work are like me. They like to see the sea, and once you've got that in your blood, you can't get rid of it.
And of course, so many local people are well aware of Cornish scenes, and as you say, they're probably just so evocative, they've got to have them, really.
Yes. Been on holidays, didn't do anything about it, but when they come away, they miss it. And I think that that's the thing, that people are buying into a memory that they felt good, or even on a dull, bad weather, you can have a walk along a beach and feel fantastic.
From an artist's point of view, I've heard said before that the Cornish light and Cornish air really helps an artist.
It does. I think oxygen must reach your retina. I think it does something, and in Scotland you get a much clearer view, and that comes across in all of my work. I think it's a vibrance that you get. It's not a dull painting. I don't like dull paintings. I only do bright paintings. So yeah, I hope that's what people see when they come and have a look.
Well, we're actually standing opposite Gail's stall, actually, and I can tell you the colours, especially the blues, are so... I mean, there's a whole crowd of people in there, but the blues actually stand out so strongly, don't they?
Yeah, I have a Japanese couple who have bought off me, and they call me the blue artist, and they've shown me how to write my name in Japanese as well. And I said, what does it say? And they said, the blue artist. Yeah. And I think that sums it up perfectly, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see exactly what they mean. Has your style changed over the years?
It's developing all the time. I think depending on what music I'm listening to at the time, it changes. And obviously time. I think now I know that this is what I'm doing. I'm not trying to fit it in with everything else. My painting's developing a lot, and it's much looser, I think.
It's interesting you're saying about music sort of having an effect on your paintings. What do you mean by that exactly?
Well, I've got probably a couple of hundred CDs at home, but I will only probably listen to about 10 of them. And Andre Rieu is a favourite.
All right.
Yeah,
yes,
Amy
yeah.
MacDonald.
Yes.
Get different things come out with different music, but usually it's classical and it's soft and it's gentle. If it's something that's got a bit of a beat to it, then it does reflect on my paintings a lot. And then palette knife painting is fantastic to Amy's work,
That's really interesting, but of course it's the senses, isn't it, coming together, the different senses coming together. That's really interesting.
Yeah, no, it does. It does mean a lot as well, because you choose your music before you start. And so whatever mood you're in, you think, oh yeah, I'm in the mood for that. And I have a golden retriever who lies next to me as well. And as soon as the music goes on, she knows that I'm going to be in there for a couple of hours. And so she just comes in and lies down next to me, and she thinks, okay, we're not going anywhere for the next few hours, may as well just lie down. So yeah.
So actually, which comes first? Do you think of the subject, then think of the music, or have the music and then think of the subject?
Generally, I have an idea. But I think the way I work is I think of something, I start painting, then I look into what I'm painting, and I choose how I'm going to go with it. I think if anybody starts out thinking, right, today I'm going to do that, it becomes a little bit contrived. That's why I don't like doing commissions. If somebody says to me, could you do that for me? I'll say, I'll do it, but I'm not going to take a commission. And that takes the pressure off me. If I want to do it, I can fiddle with it and change it around a little while. But if they said, no, I need it by 2 months' time, I'll go, no, I can't do that, because the pressure just takes the fun out of painting.
Yeah, I can understand, because it's got to be fun, hasn't it? You've got to be enjoying what you're doing and not working to a deadline or a time or something like that.
And have the freedom to create what you want to put into it. It's not going to be an exact image of what they've given me. It's going to be something that I think, yes, I would be happy to sell that. And so if they don't like it, well, that's okay, I can keep it. But that hasn't happened yet.
I'm not surprised.
Yes, anyway. Yes. So,
do you exhibit elsewhere? I mean, do you go around the country?
I do. I generally stick to an hour from our home. We come back, obviously I have a dog and I don't like leaving her. And we do Extra Craft Festival, Sherborne, and Exeter Quays, which is a great venue. They're a really good venue. Taunton Flower Show.
Exactly.
The best one that we do.
Yes, because you're doing very well this morning, I gather, and yesterday.
Right. No, it's been very, very busy. I think my husband's probably waiting for me to go back over there, actually.
That's a good time. But I should explain that Gail is living in Taunton, and you have a website.
Yes.
Yeah, which is www.gailmorris.co.uk.
Yes.
And you can see more of her work on there.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Gail. That's been excellent.
And
the best of luck, and you better get back to your husband. At the moment, he's surrounded by a bevy of ladies, so I'll let you get back.
I'm sure he's coping.
Thank you very much, anyway. Thank you, Gail.
Bye.
Well, I've got Amy here from the Split Screen Ice Cream Company. Can you tell us a bit about all that, please, Amy?
Yeah, well, we're a company, we started about 6 years ago. We wanted to bring delicious ice cream to events and festivals from cool vehicles. So we've got a 1964 split screen ice cream van. We've also got a Beetle, a VW Beetle convertible with half a Beetle trailer, matching trailer, and we serve Marshall Farm ice cream, which is located outside of Bath.
And that's delicious, is it?
It's really yummy. Once you've had it, you can't stop eating it.
I have to have one of those later. I'll tell you what, those cars that you've got there, what do you say they were?
One's it's actually an original ice cream van. It came out of the factory in Germany as an ice cream van. So it's a VW split screen.
And they are just gorgeous and they're in such good condition. Did you renovate them?
Yeah, we restored the ice cream van. The Beetle actually we bought in from California. So it's in perfect condition because obviously there's no rust, there's no rain over there. So rust-free.
So did you have a good day yesterday? How many ice creams do you think you sold yesterday, off the top of your head?
Probably about 800 myself.
Is that just you serving those?
I think so. I had a rough count. It was busy yesterday.
Do you think it's going to be busier today because the weather's better today?
Yeah, I'm going to try and scoop faster today. But I scoop really top speed anyway.
Are you there on your own then?
Yeah, because there's a tow bar. Because it's a trailer, there's a tow bar in the middle and there's only 4 ice creams. So if there's someone else serving with me, we'd just fall over each other.
Yeah, I suppose that might be a bit tight, mightn't it? Anyway, I hope you have a very successful day today. Now let me ask you, before you go, what is your favourite ice cream?
Oh,
what do you recommend?
It's got to be salted caramel.
Salted caramel. That's very popular, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very popular.
And what are other flavours?
We've got today. I've got salted caramel, raspberry pavlova, heavenly honeycomb, and the trusted vanilla.
Trusted vanilla. And what is the most popular amongst the public?
Actually, yesterday it was the vanilla.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, I think I'm going to go for the salted caramel a bit later. Well, let's hope you have a great day.
Thank you.
And I'm talking to the very nice Peter Light in the wine tent. What a surprise. Peter, now, what is your role with the Wine Association?
I'm actually chairman of the Taunton Amateur Country Winemakers Circle. We meet over at Rooston once a month. We've got a nice little friendly crowd, and we all encourage each other in winemaking and other interests, social activities. And I'm also, our circle belongs to the Somerset Association of Amateur Winemakers.
Oh, right.
And this year, for the first year ever, this is now the premier wine show in Somerset because the Somerset Association are running it.
Fantastic, it's brilliant.
So we have entries from all over Somerset and from all the circles in Somerset, and we've, I think, about 50% up on entry numbers this year.
Oh, fabulous. I know you did quite well last year when I was here.
Yes.
Now, have you done personally well this year in the competition?
We'll pass on that. No, I haven't done too well this year, but I was busy going over to
yes.
You've got to put time to making certain you're finishing touches to your wine.
Yes. Well, perhaps next year?
Next year, yes. I have won wine of the show here before, so I've got to say that's it. That is the Somerset show, which used to be held separate from this, but now, as I say it, this is the Somerset Association show.
Which is absolutely brilliant. And whilst I've been in here, I know you've been really busy, and it looks like the wine tasting competition.
Yes, this is another new introduction. We heard of this being done in another part of the country. So our winemakers were invited to have 6 different samples. Right. The expert judges had a look at them and placed them in the order for quality, balance, and all the flavour and that sort of thing. And he has put them in his order, and we've invited other people to see if they could match it. And if they manage to get the exact match, or if nobody else does, the nearest one, stands to win £50.
Oh, not a bad prize.
6 glasses of wine and a chance to win. We do ask for a donation because we have got our expenses.
Of course, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Only £1.
Well, that is not bad for 6 tasty glasses of wine, I must
admit.
admit.
The main thing is, what we're doing it for as well, is to just encourage people to taste different wines. As you can see, there's numerous different types of wines you can get. We put all these in the dry class because that's what most people would have as a table wine.
Yes, yes. I was looking around and I did see some amazing, I won't say concoctions, but some really good mixtures in the wines.
Well, there's wines for different purposes. For example, there's a dessert wine, which is like a port or something like that. And then you've got the sweet wine, sweet dessert, which would be like a sauterne. Equally, we've got aperitifs, and you can have various herbs and otherwise in there if you wish to. And we've also got liqueurs, which we've made sort of like a...
I think I remember last year having a taste of a couple of liqueurs, and I must admit I was rather partial to them.
Well, we'll wait until you're off air and then we might have another try today.
Sounds like a good idea to me. Anyway, thank you so much for talking to me, Peter.
It's been a pleasure.
And enjoy the rest of the day. And, of course, you've got tomorrow too, haven't you?
Yeah, we've got tomorrow, and we're just hoping that more people will come and try the tastings, have a look around, and there's a couple of demonstrations too.
Oh, well, I will certainly pass on that they can have some tastings in here, and also to see, all of the different types and all the work that
as I say, there's demonstrations, 2 more demonstrations tomorrow, one at about 12 o'clock on making gooseberry wine, and one on making kit wines in the afternoon.
Gooseberry wine, I haven't had that for years.
We'll see what we can do.
Lovely. Okay, thank you very much, Peter.
Okay. So, Adrian, how many volunteers do you have in the show?
Up until a couple of months ago, I would have said 200 to 300, because I've been saying that for a long while. Our chief steward took the trouble to count up how many people had signed up for this year, and I'm not sure he included all the organising committee who meet all year round, but it's 400 plus. That's a remarkable contribution, because, as I say, some of them are working year round, not just the 2 days of the show or the fortnight it takes us to build it and take it apart. I take my hat off every year to those who stand out in the middle of a field and marshal the car parking, because they don't get the ambience and the sound and the bright colours that most of us enjoy on the inside. So it is an amazing group of people. We're always recruiting more. We do look after them. We have a fantastic thank you party in August, which is just for them, and we welcome people to join that growing family of Taunton Flower Show friends.
Yes. So if somebody wanted to volunteer, how would they get in contact with
These days it's online, tauntonfs.co.uk, and we're on Facebook and Twitter with the same Taunton FS handle, or whatever they call it these days.
Yes.
You'll gather I'm not very good at new technology. I need it. I think every
welcome to the club.
every new bit of technology should come issued with a free teenager to explain how it works.
Yes. It is. I mean, it's lovely to see some of those volunteers year after year. There's one particular, you don't want to pick out any names in particular, but is it Mr. Fox?
Richard Fox has an amazing pedigree. He is a member of the Fox family, the famous Fox family from Wellington. But I believe it was his great uncle, who many years ago was one of the first prize winners in the 1866 show, one of the first in the park here. And Richard continues to give us hours and hours, and indeed nights of his time. Richard is famous, if not infamous, in the show team. He spends the night before the show not just on the showground, he sleeps in the competition tent, partly for security, for his own peace of mind. He doesn't have to, we do employ security guys, but because he is so generous, if an entry comes in late to set up or very early in the morning of the first day, he doesn't want them to have any difficulty accessing the tent. That's the measure of the man, and nothing is too much trouble.
He's a real gentleman.
Yep.
And I was very impressed early on this morning when he was telling stallholders and others that where the first aid was and stuff.
Yep. And fount of all knowledge.
Yes.
I suppose he's like a grandfather or uncle to many of the exhibitors who've been coming for years. But yes, it's always service with a smile with Richard, and we respect that. His own hometown of Wellington gave him the freedom of the borough. If I could award him freedom of the flower show, I would do so tomorrow.
And is there such an award?
There isn't yet, but I've just thought of it.
Well done.
It's probably Richard's first. Yeah,
he certainly deserves it. I just love seeing him around.
Yeah, he's great.
He's a lovely man. And when do you actually start planning?
Well, strictly speaking, it's one of the reasons why, in their wisdom, the organisers have asked me to take the lead for next year, because we're already planning next year. Now, I mean, there's no great secrets. It'll have a spectacular marching band. It'll have, hopefully, more show designer gardens and an ever varied and eclectic mix of music playing around the showground. But, we do have to book. Other people have diaries we have to fit in with. And if people are interested in coming, a lot of charities want to be involved in the show. We welcome them, but to be fair to all of them, we put them on a rotation. So there are charities that will be at the show next year for the first time. Others will be returning after a few years' break. But we want a show that is as a lively the first year you come to it as it was for people like Richard who've been coming throughout their lives.
Yes, yeah. And I'm very impressed with the variety of stalls you have here, and the charitable ones. I spoke to Street Pastors, which is an organisation dear to your heart. Yes, and Taunton Chaplaincy.
Yes, we're fortunate. In fact, we've just appointed at the chaplaincy our first Parks and Open Spaces chaplain, a guy called Tony, and he's making lots of new friends. He's been in the park the last few weeks and during the build-up. And you know what? There are people who come into the park and you can see they are just longing for someone to chat to. One chap, I don't know his name, but he just said he enjoying the nice weather. He said, I've been coming here 90 years and I lost my wife recently. And you know, I think for him, just that gentle inquiry of how things were made his afternoon. It was lovely. And Tony is a super guy. We'll always welcome people. Won't push his faith, but if they want to talk about nature and God's wonderful creation, I'm sure he'd be pleased to do that. So it's a lovely opportunity to engage with people.
Yes, and also a lovely opportunity to showcase Taunton's talent.
Absolutely.
I was talking to a head teacher just now, and there's a dance display going on somewhere here, and a pupil of hers who she's so proud of. She's now actually leading this dance troupe.
Oh, well done. Well, certainly Hestercombe young musicians are coming in later today, and we look forward to that, showcasing the very best in musical talent, some of them hot from the proms. And again, it's not all about elitism, as you say. It can be the youngsters, the youngsters who are banging the drum for the first time. Some of the Sea Cadets will be, they're dressed smartly. The tiny, the smaller ones, age 10, their first big wide-eyed experience of wearing their smart uniforms and helping, because they provide the plant creche. We look after some of the purchases for people. Air Cadets, Police Cadets in for the first time. An amazing group of people who are just about public service.
Yes, that is wonderful, and I'm sure that's part of the ethos of the flower show as well, to generate not just plants but generate that public ethos.
No, it's very much about horticulture, young people and the environment, and I don't particularly put any one above the other. I suppose it would be odd if I didn't say horticulture, but all those things blend beautifully together, and if others want to come and play, as I use that phrase, attend the garden party, they'll be very welcome. We do obviously ask people to be committed, and it seems people rise to the challenge. We see the best of human nature here.
Yeah, that's wonderful, and that comes across when people walk around the stalls and see all the happy, smiling faces today. It is a wonderful occasion. Yes, to be very proud of.
And thank you to Apple FM for coming and telling other people about it, because without you, not everyone would know that the show's on, and they can come along and be part of that fun.
Thank you very much, Adrian. Thank you for your time. I know you're a busy man.
For the caring community of Taunton.